Hello everyone, and thank you for joining our webinar today. We're going to spend 30 minutes or so just talking about, just running you through our presentation on how to deliver a truly customer-centric experience. There'll be some chance for questions at the end. We've got the chat option, so if you could just hold your questions till the end, and then we'll allow some time at the end if that's okay with everybody. So some of you may be wondering who Icano Insights are. So just very, very quick introduction. We're effectively a data-driven marketing business. So we work with our customers in customer loyalty, in customer engagement. We run loyalty programs. So we run loyalty programs for people like IKEA, Monsoon, etc. But effectively, it's about helping you understand your customers' behavior and turning customer data into actionable insight. So that's it for us, just a quick intro of the business. In terms of who your presenters are today, so I'm Barry Smith. I've been working in data-driven marketing for over 20 years now, largely on the marketing services supplier side, but occasionally on customer side too. I've been within Icano for 2.5 years. I look after sales, marketing, and management of all the existing partners that we work with. My colleague here is Lisa Folks, who will be speaking shortly. Lisa's been with us for 12 years now and is a lead marketing strategist, so is very, very active on a lot of the accounts that we work on with a lot of the retailers. She has a wealth of experience in optimizing return on investment via consumer engagement, and effectively her role is turning the so what into the now what. So you'll obviously have a chance to hear from Lisa in a moment. In terms of what we're going to cover off today, effectively we're going to be looking at the importance of engaged customers. So what does it actually mean to you? How do you become a customer-centric organization? And effectively, once you've done that, how can you then start delivering that customer-centric brand experience? We'll finish off with some examples of businesses or practices that we think are real good examples of how businesses are getting that right. And then obviously we'll have the Q&A at the end. So in terms of the first section, I just wanted to run through the importance of having loyal and engaged customers. So engaged customers or loyal customers, I guess it depends on what you want to call them these days. They account for 20% of customers, yet they generate typically 80% of total revenue and 72% of total visits. Engaged customers also deliver 13% higher spend during each transaction. Most companies find that a small proportion of their high-value customers drive the biggest proportion of their business, so obviously remembering the Pareto law. I guess what I'd say is don't fall into the trap of thinking that these customers will spend anyway, and therefore there's no need to apportion marketing spend. We find that quite a lot, but it's really important that you keep these customers engaged. They're savvy, they expect more, so let's exceed their expectations and protect your best customers. They're your best customers for a reason, and that can easily change if they start to feel neglected. It takes between 12 and 20 new customers to replace the value of a highly engaged, loyal customer, and it's about 6 or 7 times more expensive to acquire a new customer than to keep a current one. Acquiring new customers can be costly, and only, if not done properly, will only fix a short-term revenue. So, you know, these are people who potentially, if you're not getting the right types of customers, you might potentially have the hit and run. So it's, you know, it's not just customers that are into the best offers or the best discounts. It's likely to result in that hit and run behavior. So instead, you want to actually invest in your existing base. So it's more about stretching their existing spend, driving their frequency through things like tailored content. So what does it do for you if we get it right? Well, it enables you to reach a wider audience through relevant content and channels. It can give you a greater understanding of customers through their transactional and interactional behavior if you're collecting the right types of data, which then allows you to develop a strong and meaningful relationship with them. As a result of all of that, you can then start, and this is the thing that people tend to forget. They think, you know, let's build a program and let's get close to our customers, but ultimately what you're looking to do is grow your business. So it's delivering that incremental revenue and maximizing your return on marketing investment. So finally, and also, you know, what does this actually then deliver for the customers? It's about giving your customers the control over the data that they provide. You need to be rewarding them for their continued commitment to your brand. So we'll talk about some of those rewards later on in terms of softer and harder benefits, or getting the right combination of the two. But it's recognising their loyalty because it evokes that feeling of being valued. Above all, ensure your customers feel like you know them and that you are listening to their needs. You know, so much of the time we're talking to them and we're sending them messages, but actually it's about listening and giving them, as well as giving them content, and then offering tailored content to deliver specific behaviours and feedback. So we're trying to drive their behaviours ultimately.
So why should you become a customer-centric organisation? According to research, customer-centric businesses are 60% more profitable than those that don't focus on the customer. Despite this, our own market research has found that only 10% of businesses have a single holistic customer experience budget, and only 20% use customer data to support decision making. It is showing really that a lot of these businesses are still working in silos. Other research tells us that over 50% of the UK indicates a strong willingness to exchange reasonable amounts of data. In the emerging data economy, consumers are becoming aware of the power of their personal data and are using it as a commodity. Consumers have gradually become more aware of digital crumbs that they're leaving behind, and it's given them a sense of empowerment, and we're seeing this as they take more ownership for their own data. In the digital world, expectations are increasing. We're seeing this all the time. Customers are becoming more demanding. They're wanting a personalised service. They're wanting products that are reliable and durable. And they're wanting it at a time when they want it and a place that they want it. According to some research by ThinkJar, 55% of consumers are willing to pay more for a guaranteed good experience, and up to 86% are willing to pay for more for an upgraded experience. And it's thanks to this large amount of data being made available by the connected devices and digital technologies that it's easier than ever before for us to meet these high expectations. So what does a customer-centric business look like? Well, it's really about putting the customer at the heart of every decision. It's putting them first ahead of anything else. It's businesses that are really investing in delivering the best customer experience via teams that focus on optimizing the customer's journey, all of their interactions and experience across all of the touch points. It really is about delivering this truly personalized service. So efforts around customer experience enable better capture of data, which provides these businesses with actionable insight to drive customer behaviours. And the beauty of all of this is that data-driven marketing is completely measurable, so it results in better return investment on your marketing spend and ultimately drives growth within your business. But it's not just about the data. It's also equally important to focus on customer satisfaction. Regular conversations with your customers ensures that their wants, needs and expectations are listened to. It's important that this is captured and implemented, and that it's continuously measured to drive improvement. And we're seeing that these companies tend to have higher net promoter scores. And it's about a customer that's a custom business that's a cultured business around customers, as opposed to just having it as a KPI within their CRM team. So how do you become more customer-centric? I think really it's about starting with understanding your customers, their wants and needs. So we talked briefly about data exchange, but this section hopefully demonstrates the value of data and data exchange. So the power of data is incredible. I think we all know that. The information that we collect and how we use it to drive behaviour has never been more accessible. However, if we don't use it properly, it can be dangerous. And basically, data should only be collected and used on customer terms. As customers are becoming more savvy, there really does need to be this value exchange in place. And what I mean by that is that customers are happy to give you elements of their data as long as A, they're aware of it, B, they understand how it's being used, and C, they're going to get something in return. And it can be anything from preferential rates to special promotions. So customer loyalty and engagement strengthens by using the data collected from your customers in a true value exchange, giving them the best customer experience on their terms. It's really important that you communicate with customers consistently across every channel. We need to reduce the amount of clicks and barriers, and that's across every media. So if you know your likes and habits and requirements of your customers, then you should use that to boost your relationships. And don't get into the habit of driving them away by the overuse of digital channels. So now we get into data and the complexity of data, and obviously there is a wealth of it out there. So collecting the data is actually the easy part. I think collecting the right amount of data and the right data is where it becomes a challenge. So many businesses that we talk to and many of our partners find that they're flooded with data, and others suffer from complex data structures. And it's either from the multiple sources that this data is coming from or the legacy of systems that they're using. So cleaning, maintaining and managing data is time consuming, it is costly, and it does require company buy-in. But, you know, at the end of the day, it's the customer and it's about the customer interactions with your business that's important. So the opportunity to collect data is becoming increasingly expensive and complex, especially within this omni-channel world, and it's increased complexity of data. And we don't just mean structured data, but unstructured data, the architecture and the methodology of collecting and allowing the data to interact with your customers and providing this better customer experience. We often get caught up determining whether minutiae data needs to be collected and what triggers it's going to drive. But again, it's the customer that's important, so don't forget that. So we need to determine what data is relevant in order to engage with our customers on their terms and also to change their behaviours. It's the ability to measure every click, tweet and page view, but this can actually be both a blessing and a curse. On one hand, there's a wealth of potential valuable data that can be formed from this. On the other hand, it's incredibly easy for us to take our eye off the ball and start to try and go for the wrong types of metrics. Ultimately, it's metrics that revolve around seeing improved sales that matter.
Okay, so how do we get to the always-on customer? I think essentially you just have to be everywhere that they are. If you think about it, you know, some of us might get the bus to work. We might be sat on the bus in the morning or the train, flicking through our mobile phones, maybe browsing a website. We might then, at lunchtime, go into, when you're in the office, you might get your laptop out and you might make an order. And then in the evening, you might well be second screening on your iPad whilst watching EastEnders or whatever it is that you watch in the evening. Effectively, what you've done there is you've given a retailer or an e-commerce business free opportunities to capture your information. I think we used to collect transactional information and we used to think about the value of business and the values of those transactions. It's now about linking those engagements as well to the transactions. And actually, is somebody who's engaging 3 times with our brand during the day more valuable than somebody who doesn't engage across those multiple channels? So effectively, what we're doing here is we're looking at starting right in the middle, and there we're going to put your customers at the heart of every decision. So this is a diagram that we put together just to sort of bring to life the customer journey process and understanding so that retailers can see if they've got any gaps. So that customer right in the middle there is your single customer view. The grey things around that, the things like recognition and reward and social loyalty, etc., they're all of the enablers and they're all the technology. And this allows you to actually gather the relevant transactional information and behaviours. So once you get all of that in place, and you know, nobody's going to have all of that straight away, but it allows you to understand what's available and what you might need to put in place. So once you've got that, you then, you know, you as the retailer, you as the brand need to be understanding, you know, your business better than anybody else. So if we start at the top there where we're looking at engagement, it's about creating the right stories. You know your brand better than anybody else. You need to be putting the adverts, putting the stories together. What messages are you trying to get across? 1, to attract new customers, but 2, to get the right messages to drive the right behaviours with your existing customers. So once you start doing that, you can then start converting and having conversations with them. And if you're moving around to the right, and we'll follow the flow around, you can then start collecting the right types of data. So we often talk about the right type of data, not big data. So effectively, as Lisa just mentioned, there's a whole load of data available, but it can be a bit of a pain. I think if you're collecting data, I think there's 2 rules that we would always recommend you go by. The first one would be making sure that the piece of data is only worth collecting if it's adding value back to the customer in terms of their experience. And secondly, if it's adding value back to you as a business, so you can actually track it all the way back to measurement and decide whether or not it's delivering you incremental growth to your business. Okay, so once you've collected those, once you've started collecting the data, you can then start building up that picture using actionable insight and analytics, which in turn then we then look to use to drive the actual behavior. So putting your customer journey in place, it's really, really simple. The only reason we have customer journeys is to try and drive behavior. So it's trying to understand where they are in that journey, where they are in that process. So it's looking at interactions, it's looking at engagement, it's looking at products, it's looking at how much they spent, when they spent, how much they spent, and really trying to determine what we need to do, what we need them to do next. So is it to stretch spend? Is it to actually increase their frequency, or is it to stop them leaving altogether? You know, they're the three things that we need to be focusing on in our customer engagement. If we get that right, we're then actually getting towards hitting the always-on customer, and we're being everywhere that we want to be. You know, it's about delivering that brand affinity. Okay, so the next slide is just in terms of giving your customers what they want. It's really about understanding the customers, and if we just move on to the next slide, it's really about a number of things. So I'm just going to focus on a couple of things here that we think are really important. One is more content and more engagement. So what we're saying here is that the digital world has fueled huge demand for content. You know, things like blogs and videos, unstructured data, white papers, social media content, much more. So many businesses are now discovering that they need additional content to support this storytelling, such as video, images, and interactive content. I think we've all heard of data lakes probably recently. So things are coming out all the time where we're capturing different pieces of information. So what we're saying is the challenge is for most is actually building and developing the content that's relevant and attractive and compelling. There's no point building content if it's not relevant and compelling. Businesses need to be thinking about how to understand and collect and track each of the customer's interactions against this data, and then build it into the database to understand how it might be able to measure the engagement or drive activity off the back of it. Which leads me into the next point, which is don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. And what I mean by that is we need to making sure that we've still got the right mix of data. So it's about, again, with the digital revolution that's firmly in place now, actually, we still need to be considering the wider marketing mix and the marketing channels that our customers prefer to use. Conventional advertising still represents the largest chunk of the marketplace. TV and printed media, such as direct mail, are still more important than ever in a world where content is king. They're at the forefront of figuring out ways to bring the right content to life at the right time and to the right audience. We're still finding that direct marketing, for example, or direct mail is still outperforming digital in terms of return on investment across many of our partners' campaigns that we run for them. In addition to that, TVs are changing. They've changed. I mean, tech giants are now developing digital age TVs, more effective ways of measuring engaging viewer and reader response. If you think about the social media interaction and social media analytics are available now, cross-screen integration, it's turning traditional media upside down. Data marketing principles still very much apply there, and that's the thing that we should always remember throughout all of this customer engagement. It's about segmenting, it's about testing, it's about learning, and delivering that measurement so that we can make sure we're driving customers to spend more and spend more often and stop them leaving. So I'm not going to run through all of these one by one, but I think it's probably important to touch on a few of them. So how do we give our customers more of what they want via an omnichannel experience? So if we start by making it seamless, one of the challenges that retailers now face is the full and seamless integration of all of the different customer sales touch points. So what this means is it's not just a matter of customer shopping in store anymore via the retail, but also by the m-commerce site, by the website, by the e-commerce site. Everything should look and feel the same. The customer experience should remain the same across all of the different touch points. So remember, I said be everywhere your customer is. You need to be delivering that same experience across all of those different touch points too. From a social media point of view, the wealth of information about customers' shopping behaviour in social networks is untapped gold for retailers. I mean, we've started tapping it, but it's still very much untapped. By using the right analytics tools, retailers can effectively mine the data to gain insights into what customers want to buy and what use these insights can create for more effective merchandising plans. Equally, retailers can leverage large social networks to build relationships and influence what what and how customers buy. Retailers also need to be conscious that there can be significant negative publicity through social media sites. A customer's bad shopping experience can easily be publicised to vast numbers of social media followers. I think we've all heard about showrooming. So, showrooming being bricks and mortar, going into the stores to examine the merchandise and then going online and buying it. It also happens the other way around, believe it or not. Obviously, lots of people go and check online sites and then go in the store and buy them. But I think we just as retailers need to be thinking about how we can engage with those customers to grow the revenue and build that engagement. It requires better trained and equipped store associates with assisted selling tools, new service-based store layouts, greater store autonomy to leverage local events, negotiating prices and catering to local demographics. Customers who purchase through multimedia, we tend to find are worth a lot more than those that just stick to one particular channel. NFI and Wi-Fi, I think, are really important. I think the challenge is to use this new technology to offer consumers appropriate real-time offers and incentives through digital apps and interactive store displays. Collecting in store is obviously pretty well established now. Faster checkout and payment. Customers hate queuing, don't they? So we all know, I think supermarkets now are deploying more and more self-checkout tills and self-scans, which are really there to service not only quicker but more cost-effective too. But if we are looking at changing technology, the devices must be able to accept and validate things like customer offers and loyalty programs as well. Some retailers have even been trialling the use of iPhones and certain smartphones as self-service scanning tools, so that customers can actually use their mobile phone as they're going around the store, putting it in the basket, and when they get to the NFC terminal at the end, they can actually scan it and it will go through their POS system in real time. So, these are some real developments that we've been able to bring to the forefront.
So how do we become more customer-centric? So now we've come to the third element of this, and now we're looking at rewarding your customers. So it's really thanking them for their continued loyalty. And it really does start with the reward itself. It does remain core to engagement. And we talked earlier about value exchange, where customers receive something in exchange for what they gave us. However, this section is really more about focusing on the ongoing rewards. So, what do you do? What do you give them to ensure they keep coming back to you and remain engaged with your brand? So it's really that way of thanking them for their continued spend and their interaction with you. I think the really important thing here is to say that, the reward must delight your customer and where possible, even surprise them. At no point should rewards be mistaken for a discount-led proposition, as this leads to devaluation of your brand. And unfortunately, this does happen, and we see a lot of this within the marketplace. Offering a preferential rate in a controlled environment is fine, and we definitely encourage that, as it does help to evoke exclusivity and make customers
feel more valued. Other reward options include free services, the pound value, points, third-party offers. But I think it's the traditional way and the easiest way, if you like, of rewarding customers is still through loyalty programs, and this is still seen as one of the best ways as well, and it does benefit both the customer and the retailer. So how do they do this? Well, it is through a mix of hard and soft benefits. So the hard benefits being more of the tangible rewards, such as the pound value elements, and then obviously the softer benefits, which are more based around emotional rewards. I mean, thinking about the currency, points is still definitely commonplace within the marketplace. They're easy to understand by customers, and they're also easily managed by businesses. They're simple to communicate through messages, and above all, they are cost effective. So, you can manage how much discount you want to give via points. You can either do that in real time, or you can defer that via a pound value reward. So then thinking about services, this is great. You can offer a free or discounted or exclusive VIP service, and this doesn't erode your margin. So again, it starts to add value to relationships. You can do something like free delivery, for instance, or a priority customer service line. But what is important is that you ensure that the services that you offer are relevant and logistically viable. I mean, the last thing you want to do is overpromise and underdeliver. So as a result of offering rewards, customers will become more sticky. It will increase that lifetime value, and relationships will improve. And in time, this will lead to advocacy and help to prevent attrition. Rewards can also actually help to differentiate you in the marketplace, ensuring that you are top of mind and also having that greater share of wallet. So then, thinking about the other elements of the customer centricity. So this is where we move to sections 4 and 5, and this is really about gathering customer feedback and continuously listening to your customers. And within this, it's really important that these are elements of a strategy, but these are often overlooked by businesses, but are equally important. So if we start with two-way conversations, so it's important that you listen to your customers' views as well as tracking their transactional behaviours, and ensure that you're utilising every touch point. So, do monitor Twitter conversations and Facebook comments. Really what we want to do is link social to your CRM data. That is absolutely the holy grail. However, this is becoming increasingly difficult as networks start to, put barriers in place. For those of you who do regularly conduct research and you do have some regular responders, why not consider something like a customer panel? We find this is really effective within our business, with our partners. Having this access to a regular group of advocates really does help to understand wants and needs on a regular basis, and you don't have the cost of actually going out and commissioning separate research. A customer panel can also help to shape content and design, and it's particularly valuable when you're launching a new scheme or proposition. The customer also benefits from this experience as well. They enjoy sharing their views. They feel like they're contributing to the development of the brand. And also, that they're talking amongst like-minded customers. So it really does work for them. Then moving into continuous listening and keeping fluid, really. I think it's about being abreast of your customers' wants and needs, allows you to remain competitive. Those that stand still get left behind. I think we all know that. The way we live our lives today is at pace, and the always-on customer really does expect better and easier ways to shop.
So we're now going to look at some examples of where we think brands are getting customer centricity right. I think when consumers shop online, they expect convenience, but when they shop in store, they expect experience. So you need to give customers a good reason to engage using technology. There's no point putting it in and just leaving them to it. I think the lines between online and offline have become increasingly blurred. As we mentioned earlier, many customers shop with their mobile phones in their hands nowadays, and brands connect on this by sending timely and contextual communications, such as like personalised offers, which you know more about them. So bricks and mortar stores are adopting digital technologies such as mobile payment, interactive kiosks, virtual fitting rooms, and are equipping staff with iPads to provide more efficient service to create an engaging and increasingly bespoke experience. So if we start over on the left now, I'm looking at ASICS, which is the athletic wear company. So their flagship store in Germany offers shoppers an interactive digital products advisor. So using an iPad, customers can answer a series of questions about their personal preferences and running habits. Recommended products are then tailored to their needs and will appear on a large screen on the wall. If we then look at the store navigation tool in the middle, which is Walmart, it's actually quite a cute thing to use, actually. So Walmart have introduced a service to help customers navigate its gigantic stores, but by text, which we would probably think seems a little bit old-fashioned, but actually customers text the product they want to find as soon as they walk into the store. The automated chat assistant texts them straight back and lets them know whether the item's in stock, and two, where to find it. And the reason why I think this is a really cute way of targeting or engaging with customers is because the customer demographic of their stores is really what drove Walmart to using text messaging. Most of their users didn't actually know how to find or download apps. So plus, if you ask them then to use their own data plans, that's quite a big thing if you're not wanting to use your own data, where I used to navigate around a supermarket. So they wanted something that helped them find what they need without them making that extra investment. So it's really thinking about what their customers want that actually made that a really good piece of marketing. And then the third one on the right there, the self-service piece, is really Asda's kiosks have a mobile-friendly barcode scanner and a large touch screen. So you can scan your barcode and a member of staff will bring your online order to you straight away. You can also use the kiosk to make returns by printing off labels, returns labels. So effectively, you're delivering that convenience and that efficiency that a customer wants. I guess, in summary, using self-service interactive things like tablets or kiosks in store, we can see that 75% for our own, some research that we did with the Future Foundation, 75% access detailed product information, 71% of customers were looking to order a product that's actually sold out, and another 71% or possibly a similar amount of those folk were looking at products or variations that are not in store that could then also be ordered. So I guess what it's saying is, you know, put these things in store and people will come and people will buy. Just looking at beacons. So I think most people are probably familiar with beacons now, so I won't labour in terms of what they are, but I think effectively it allows you to send specific messages to a consumer's smartphone whilst they're in store or near a store, so you can get things like interactive maps that will help you navigate around the store. I think companies that have used it, John Lewis have used it recently. I think they're scattered. They have beacons scattered throughout the stores to allow customers to receive real-time notifications, things like promotions, tips. Stores are beginning to use the technology to make products interactive as well and can also be delivered via wearable devices. I think from a so what point of view, it's really important from as marketers to be mindful of these beacons. You know, if you remember the rules of direct marketing around segmentation, testing, learning, measurement, I think iBeacons can really start delivering you incremental revenue from your customers that are actually in store. And what I mean by that, if you imagine, if you know that your most valuable customers in store, in terms of spend and loyalty, you can tailor your communications to them to drive a certain behaviour. If somebody's highly engaged but low value, again, they're in the store, we know they normally spend £20, why don't we send them an offer immediately to their phone that says, well, actually, if you spend £50 with us today, we'll give you a free whatever or give you a further discount. So in actual fact, you can actually start driving behaviours on premise while people are in the property. And as I said earlier, the beauty of it being data-driven is that you can obviously test the outcomes, so you can start looking at finessing and start delivering incremental value back to your business.
So now we'll look at an example of dynamic customer engagement and personalisation. And if we look on the left, the example here is Very. So very.co.uk, fully personalised homepage. They've got 1.2 million versions. It's flexible elements that include different types of promotional messages and positions on the page. And they do a lot of customer segmentation, so different segments will see different offers tailored to them. And they've also begun personalising search results as well. So then moving into personalisation, well, according to Retail Week, 76% of shoppers think that it's cool to get digital help finding relevant products and information whilst in store, and 77% expected a retailer's website to display products and offers that appeal to their taste. However, it can become creepy if consumers are targeted with personalised content at places that they're not expecting it. So 73% of them did actually say that it would be creepy if a retailer used facial recognition, which, to be honest, probably isn't that unexpected. And a personal greeting by first name in store was rejected by 73% of consumers. So we've looked at tech firm Offer Moments, and they've actually used this technology to develop a personalised billboard. The technology connects with an app on the shopper's smartphone and then builds a customer profile based on their social media data and demographic. The billboard then displays the shopper's social media profile, picture and name, and also lists the relevant products and offers. So shoppers that spend at least 10 seconds next to the display are then sent a time-sensitive offer straight to their smartphone. And what is surprising is that technology can actually also scan what the individual is wearing and also then start to offer similar brands. So really, you know, what is this about? It's basically saying that we need to respect the customer. We need to identify and understand the different types of customers and their behaviours and look to target personas and not just a blanket mail to everybody. It's really using data and personalization to communicate on the customer's terms. So becoming too intrusive really is not a great thing. Secondly, another example of dynamic customer engagement, and then, sorry, this is a new way to reward. And again, this is use of an app. So this is the John Lewis example, and they have basically used their app now to link to their loyalty scheme, and basically replace the card plastic. It's taken a lot of work in store to enable them to do this, as you can imagine. So they've had to have scanners in there. But what is good is that 20,000 people linked to their membership in the first 2 weeks. The other bit that John Lewis are doing that's interesting as well is the kitchen drawer that you can see in the middle of the diagram. This is actually something that they believe is an industry first. They're saying that every time a customer scans their loyalty card or app in store, the details of the purchase, including the receipt and the guarantee, are uploaded to their online account. So then we move into the next example, and this is ASOS. Now, ASOS is a traditional loyalty scheme with a difference. So it's online only. So it does mean that every time you spend online, you automatically enter into their scheme. It's called the ASOS A-List program. As you can see how it works on the first slide, it's literally for every £1 that you spend, you get 5 points. You then earn through having spent £100, you earn 500 points, which then equates to a £5 ASOS voucher, and then you have up to 6 months to redeem that voucher. The scheme is a mix of hard and soft benefits, and it's really about creating experience for their customers. So you can see here where they do differentiate themselves. So it's a four levels of service that they're offering here, from entry level, looking at receiving double points and free next day delivery, up to being a very important person where you need at least 10,000 points, but you are getting access to like a 48-hour access to sale and an invite to a special event at their headquarters.
So in summary, firstly, we need to understand what your customers want. So in summary, firstly, we need to understand what your customers want through value exchange. Collecting data that will make a difference, it's actionable, and above all, will generate value back to your business. You need to give your customers what they want on their terms. So use new technology, but keep it simple. Digital's a great enabler. It enables you to communicate with individuals through relevant and timely content and via the media of their choice. But remember, the direct marketing principles still apply, so test, measure and learn. Thank your customers for continued custom via rewards. Remember, rewards aren't always tangible. It's a mixture of hard and soft benefits that will aid that efficiency. So it's building conversations and engagement. Engage in dialogue with your customers and listen to their needs. And lastly, but not least, keep it fluid and aligned to your customers, adapting to their ever-changing needs and expectations. So, I hope you enjoyed that and were able to take something from it. We're just going to go to questions in a moment. Just before we do, I just wanted to point out a couple of workshops that we do. We do free workshops, and again, you can look at these in your own time. We're recording this session, so you can obviously have access to this, but essentially we run free workshops. One's a customer data workshop where we look at how much your customer data is worth, and we can help build you a business case for data-driven marketing. And then the other two are around CRM and loyalty, effectively. One is looking at customer engagement and CRM within your business, and the third one is a loyalty workshop. So that's really helping you understand what loyalty might look like for you. So let's go on to questions. So has anybody got any questions? I can't see anybody's coming through with any, but I'll just take a minute to thank you anyway. So, thank you for your time, everybody. It's really good to have you all on board today. My contact details are in the presentation, so you can obviously contact me whenever you like. If you can't think of a question right now for myself or Lisa, then please feel free to just fire them off and send them to me shortly. But we'll leave it a few more minutes anyway. So if anybody does want to ask a question or think of a question, please feel free to go ahead now. Thank you.